Grade 4, the year 2023-2024, reading The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere.
Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year.
He said to his friends, if the British march by land or sea from town tonight, hang the lanterns aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church tower as a light signal. If by one by land, and if two by sea, on the opposite shores will be ready to ride, spread the alarm. To the Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up and to be armed.
Then he said goodnight with a muffled oar, silently rowed to the Charlestown shore. Just as the moon rose over the bay, where swinging wide at her moonstring lay, the Somerset British man of war, a phantom ship with each mast and spar, across the moon like a prison bar, and a huge black hulk that was magnified by its own reflection in the tide.
Meanwhile, his friend through alley and street wanders and watches with eager ears, till the silence round him he hears the muster of man at the barrack door, the sound of arms and the tramp of feet, the measured tread of grenadiers marching down to their boats on the shore.
Then he climbed the tower of the church by the wooden stairs with stealthy tread to be belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch on somber rafters that round made masses and moving shapes of shade by trembling ladders steep and tall to the highest window on the wall, where he paused to listen and look down a moment on the roofs of the town and the moonlight going over all.
Beneath in the churchyard lay the dead in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence so deep and still that he could hear like a sentinel's tread the watchful night wind as it went creeping along from tent to tent, and seeming to whisper all is well. A moment only he feels the spell of the place and hour and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead. For suddenly all his thoughts are bent on a shadowy something far away, where the river widens to meet the bay, a line of black that bends and floats on the rising tide like a bridge of boats.
Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred with a heavy stride, on the opposite shore walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse's side, now gazed at the landscape far and near, then, impetuous, stamped the earth, and turned and tightened his saddle girth. But mostly he watched the eager search, the belfry tower of the old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and somber and still. And lo, as he looks on the belfry's height, a glimmer and then a gleam of light. He springs to the saddle, the bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes till full on his sight a second lamp in the belfry burns.
A hurry of hooves in a valley street, a shade in the moonlight, a bulk in the dark, and beneath from the pebbles in passing a spark, struck out by a steed flying fearless and free. That was all, and yet through all the gloom and the light, the fate of the nation was written that night, and the spark struck out by that steed in his flight and ran into flame with its heat.
He has left the village and mounted the steep, and beneath him tranquil and bored and deep,
is the mystic meeting the ocean tides in under the alders that skirt its edge. Now soft on the sand, now loud on the ledge, is heard the tramp of the steed as he rides.
It was 12 by the village clock when he crossed the bridge into Medford town and heard the crowing of the cock and barking of the farmer's dog, and felt the damp of the river fog that rises after the sun goes down.
It was 1 by the village clock when he galloped into Lexington. He saw the little wheat farm and swim through the moonlight. He passed the meeting house, windows black and bare. Gaze at him with spectral glare. If they already stood against the bloody work, they would not look upon him.
It was 2 by the village clock when he came to the bridge in Concord town. He heard the bleating of the flock and the twitter of the birds among the trees, and felt the breath of the morning breeze blowing over the meadow ground, and one was safe asleep in his bed. Who on the bridge would be first to fall, who that day would be lying dead, pierced by a British musket ball.
You know the rest in the books you've read, how the British regulars fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball from behind each fence and farmyard wall, chasing the redcoats down the lane, then crossing the fields to emerge again under the trees at the turn of the road, only pausing to fire and load.
So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so through the night went his cry of alarm. To every Middlesex village and farm, a cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. For born on the night wind of the past, through all our history to the last. In the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will waken and listen to hear the hurrying hoofbeats of that steed and the midnight message of Paul Revere.